Hello everybody and welcome to I Am Setsuna. Right, what I wanted to do with this one today, I was looking through what we have and hadn't done so far. We haven't actually read through, we haven't been keeping up with this, with the Chronicles, so that's what I want to do today. We got the main characters, obviously we've read through the Setsuna, Eterna, and then there's Nidra. Appeared a swordsman who also served as part of a previous sacrifice's guard. Some said that since returning from his journey, he lost his edge and became a coward, but these were no more than rumours. He never speaks of his past and cares little what others think. The one exception to this is Setsuna, who he seems to have a keen interest in, possibly because he sees a resemblance in her to the previous sacrifice he guarded. My big question on this one, was he a guard to Setsuna's mum? Because Setsuna's mum was also a sacrifice. Maybe we'll find that near the end. Okay, now we got the sub-characters. Habsburg, an old swordsman who works as a mercenary. He has a philosophical, somewhat detached view of the world, but seems to have taken an interest in Ender. Though where he heard about him is uncertain, he is a mysterious man and apparently lives off nuts and berries like a woodland animal. According to an anecdote from a traveller, when asked why he only ate nuts and berries, he gave his riddling reply, "Food is not the only thing that fills one's stomach." We got Reishin, the father of the sacrifice Setsuna. He was once a well-known magic user, and his unequalled magical energy seems to have been inherited by Setsuna. A man of few words, he is sincere and diligent, and is trusted deeply by the people of the village, although it is difficult to imagine when looking at him now. In his youth he was quite hot-headed, and was often off on reckless adventures together with a certain partner in crime. I reckon that was the wife. Lucius, a member of the Magic Consortium, he is an inquisitive man and seems interested in the sacrifices party. He devotes his time to concocting medicines, a job at which he is said to be one of the best out of all of the members of the Magic Consortium. However, due to his inquisitiveness and passion for his craft, he is also known to concoct forbidden medicines, and is often being warned sternly by the Consortium about this. And there's Freya, a woman who serves as captain of the resistance in Parika. She appears to be quite old, but her exact age is unknown. She is a brave and peerless swordswoman, and in combat uses the two swords she carries on her back simultaneously, a technique she has not even taught to her student Nidra. She will sometimes climb the watchtower alone and stare out pensively from it. Not even Nidra has been able to ask her about her past. I'm sure we'll find out about that at some point. We have Avalo, the Lord of Flania Citadel. He is the successor of an ancient noble lineage and was taught about what makes an ideal leader since childhood by his father Dinas. He places great importance on his people, but also seems to bear a grudge against his father and dislikes living in his shadow. He once said to an aide, "Succeeding my father is akin to succeeding a throne of ice. No matter how uncomfortable, I must sit on it, and sit on it I will." And we have Dinas, the former Lord of Flania Citadel. He is a good-natured and compassionate man, but possesses a will of steel. As Lord, he would stand at the head of his troops, giving orders, never allowing a single monster to make its way inside the town. However, during one especially relentless attack, his focus on protecting his people was so great that he neglected to protect his own family, and ended up losing his wife. This tragedy seems to have left him feeling indebted to his son Avalo. Akash, a shipwright working in Flania Citadel, he is the only man alive known to be capable of flying an airship. Although he greatly respects the former Lord of the Citadel, Dinas, he does not seem to think too highly of the current Lord, Avalo. He is an undeniably stubborn man, but also a very loyal one. He adores airships above all else and hopes to one day own one of his own. And we obviously have the monsters, the ones which you've come across so far. We've got the Pengi species. The most well-known of all monsters, it is found across the land, and there is also a high degree of intra-specific variation. Its wings have evolved to make them suited to delivering powerful slap attacks, and in exchange have lost the ability of flight. Its large crest acts like a tail fin, stabilizing acceleration during its dive attack. It can also use focus to increase its own tension, boosting attack power so be sure to defeat it before it does. Will drop a 4-drop if defeated while afflicted with a status ailment. And we got third monsters. We got a Jabu, a ferocious monster that craves combat above all else. Although not a species native to Hincot Island, at some point the creatures came to inhabit its woods, perhaps travelling over hidden among the cargo of the ferries that sail to the island. It specialises in claw attacks using its sharp claws and chomp attacks using its powerful jaws. It is known to inflict critical hits more than frequently than other monsters. We have Muffy. It looks quite cute when you look at it. An astonishingly cute monster with bushy balls of fur at the end of each ear. These balls store fire elemental magical energy, and the creature can use fire. It also attacks using gnaw, but its tiny mouth means this causes little harm. When seeing one of its kin defeated, a Muffy will become overcome with loneliness and use Call to summon more Muffies. It is thus advisable to dispose of all the creatures at once. No matter how cruel it seems, will drop a mountain lily flower if defeated with the exact kill. Sea monsters. A Walloompa, a rotund beast that has built up its blubber reserves to the point of obesity. It moves incredibly slowly, but is also incredibly powerful. One example of this power can be seen in its super slap. Although in principle no different from the attacks used by penguins and the like, the creature's strength combined with its immense weight creates a knockout blow. Similarly, it can use a simple jump to generate a tremor that causes damage to all foes. Will drop iron snow sand if defeated with exact kill. We have a Scullion, a monster with its standing defense ability thanks to the spiral shell formed from its hardened body fluids that it carries on its back. Its name comes from the shell's pattern, which resembles a human skull. It is advisable to swiftly defeat the creature before it can use Shell Seal to retreat into its shell and further strengthen its defences. Caution must also be paid to its shell boomerang attack, in which it uses its hardened shell as a throwing weapon. Will drop an unknown bone if defeated with exact kill. Poison Puff Puff, a bloated monster that generates and stores poisonous gases inside its body. Take care when approaching the creature, as it may use poisonous breath to release sap, inflicting toxic gases. However, it is its self-destruct attack that requires the most caution. The creature will ignite the gases inside its body, thus triggering a huge explosion. This is to be avoided at all costs. Will drop punctured sheet metal if defeated with exact kill. Squartstrom, the monster that attacked the Nive Flonia ferry. It is a huge beast with an elongated neck, covered in jet black scales, and the length of its body eclipses that of a ferry ship. Its mere movement creates huge waves, and it has sunk many a ship. It seems fully aware of its power, and its attacks appear almost mocking. These include Body Slam directed at the ship and Big Bite directed at its passengers. All attacks had little effect on the creature, and in the end the ferry was sunk by its tidal wave attack. We have a primeval tortoise, an ancient monster that has lain sleeping in the innermost depths of the frost caves for hundreds of years. When the sacrifice's god entered the cave, it was awakened from its long slumber and attacked them. As a result of its extremely lengthy lifespan, it has mastered the use of both fire and water magic, two opposing elements which would usually be impossible. It also possesses a special defensive ability by using hide in shell. It can virtually nullify all physical damage. We have winged monsters. White Flapper, a flying creature that beats its huge wings to stay airborne. Supporting its fellow monsters from above, its wing tips extend into skeletal structures akin to those of human fingers, which it uses to make gestures akin to one used by sorcerers, thus increasing the potency of its magic. If a fellow monster's HP grows low, a White Flapper will use Cure to heal it. It is thus advisable to dispose of the creature before turning one's attention to other monsters. Will drop a hexagonal pendant if defeated with exact kill. Then there's a Toot Hoot. Toot Hoots are a subspecies of the Hoot Hoot. Its brown feathers mean that unlike its white feathered cousin, it is unable to camouflage itself against the snow, and it is easily spotted by humans. In order to compensate for this, it is able to use paralysing gaze to stalk humans for longer than the Hoot Hoot's blinding gaze. Will drop a Joy Flower if defeated while afflicted with a status ailment. Then we got Woot Hoot. Subspecies of the Hoot Hoot, a nocturnal creature. Its jet black features are well suited to moving under cover of darkness. As a result, it is not usually spotted by humans during the night time, but conversely is sometimes happened upon by humans while asleep during the daylight hours. Its signature attack is Petrifying Gaze, which can turn humans who meet its eye to stone, or drop a happiness wreath if defeated with a combo. White Wind. Have we come across this yet? I think we have. Here we have. The gigantic airborne monster that attacked Nye Village. The creature flies through the stratosphere, swooping down to Earth at incredible speed when it gets wind of prey. It is responsible for the destruction of countless villages. It attacks by taking in deep breaths, combusting the inhaled oxygen internally, and then releasing it as burning breath. Furthermore, this attack is used when the oxygen is only partially combusted, and when fully combusted, the creature can unleash the truly fearsome blazing breath. Intelligent monsters. Wolf Baron, Lord Avalor's henchman. The monster that attacked the Sacrifice's guard on board the airship. It moves at lightning speed to disrupt its foes, waiting to catch them off guard. When it does, it swiftly attacks with deadly claw, using its sharpened claws and deadly bite, using its bone-crunching fangs. When it deems its foe powerful enough to warrant doing so, it will reveal its true form, emitting a golden light. When in this form, it attacks using the fierce golden claw, golden fang, and golden wind. Human foes. Plump young man. Member of the resistance formed in the village of Parika. He has a slightly overweight physique. He attacks using a sword, but his skill with it still leaves much to be desired. Basically, he's useless. Shrewd-eyed young man. Member of the resistance formed in the village of Parika. He has a sharp look in his eyes and is probably the best looking member of the resistance. He attacks using a sword. When he loses his cool, he has a habit of attacking repeatedly with swipe. Baby-faced young man. Member of the resistance formed in the village of Parika. He has a very young face and takes great offence to being mistaken for a child. He attacks using a sword. When concentrating, he has a habit of losing sight of his surroundings, causing him to attack repeatedly with slash. And then we have Soldier. The soldiers who serve as guards in the citadel town of Flonia. As most of the soldiers are posted inside the town, which is protected from monsters by a powerful citadel, only a small handful of them have any actual combat experience. They attack using swords. And we have the Reaper. The Reaper, a mysterious man who wields a scythe. He suddenly attacks the Sacrifice's guard in the town of Serendale. He seems to see nothing but the enemy before him and simply slashes single-mindedly with his scythe. The Reaper 2. A mysterious man who wields a scythe. After the incident in Serendale, he attacks the party once more on Lord Avalor's airship as they attempt to destroy the Sprit Knight device. He's strikingly different from their last battle and handles his scythe deftly, as well as attacking with shadow elemental magic. Most frighteningly of all is the fact that he seems to be learning to fight more intelligently, as demonstrated by his use of different attacks depending on the difference between him and his opponents. I don't know how many times we're going to fight him. Weapons. Endor has different weapons. This is actually quite cool how many different... There are actually stories on each weapon. Snowlight. The forging process behind this sword is passed down in the mass tribe. All members forge their own swords when they begin working as mercenaries. Each blade is made from a special metal that responds to the forger's magical energy, thus preventing anyone else from equipping it. In return, it provides incredible ease of use. It boasts an excellent balance between offensive and defensive ability and is perfect for solo combat. The Wind Rider. I like the look of this one. So this is the new one we've got. This is the one that we used before. Okay, this sword has been forged entirely from an ultra-hard lightweight metal known as levicium. Although levicium is well known among blacksmiths, it is difficult to process using current technology, and few other people know of it. The focus of this sword's forger was clearly on usability, and although it is somewhat lacking in terms of attack power, it makes up for this in defensive ability. Its lightness means that the user can move more swiftly and dodge sudden attacks. Time Frost. A sword made using a time elemental Sprit Knight stone. Long ago, a magician carrying out forbidden research succeeded in sealing time energy inside a physical object, and this taboo blade is a result of transferring that energy into a weapon. Everything its blade slices turns a frosty white before crumbling into nothingness, and this is the reason behind its name. Foes hit with this blade receive time elemental damage. That is cool. We have Setsuna. Ritual Chakram. Chakrams such as this are worn by the sacrifices when they depart on their pilgrimage. and they have been used both as protective talismans and defensive weapons since long ago. It has a simple round shape which makes it very easy to use. It contains a large amount of magical energy resulting from the special ore used to create it, and the various rites and prayers that have been cast upon it. It is generally used as a throwing weapon, inflicting damage on multiple enemies in a straight line from the user. The hair shuriken. This chakram is modeled after the shuriken. Shuriken, a legendary weapon from an ancient land. It is more attack oriented than a regular chakram. The thin blades protruding from its boast an incredible sharpness, and its attack power can be further increased by tempering them. However, as it was created using an ore that primarily provides physical attack power, it contains little magical energy, and in comparison to other weapons, is somewhat lacking in terms of magical attack power. Then we have the dress beret. An unusually sharpened chakram with a bumpy edge. It is created by a craftsman as a decorative piece, modelled after the shape of the hem of a long dress, but has been reappropriated as a weapon because of the high defense and evasion capabilities that it offers. The bumps on the edge of its blade and the piece that protects the bearer's hand mean that it provides excellent defense power against simple physical attacks. It is also able to deftly ward off attacks, making it easy to evade enemy attacks completely. Turner. She has a Zoth dagger, a small simple dagger. Although it may appear to be no more than a regular dagger, it has in fact been crafted using a rare ore not found in this land, and boasts a sturdy blade with a keen edge. It also possesses a high amount of magical energy and performs well both as a catalyst for magical attacks and in terms of magical defense. Its only weak point to speak of is its slightly low physical power, but it nevertheless makes an excellent all-round weapon. Anti-pole dagger, a unique dagger easily recognisable by its flame-shaped blade. Yeah, that's quite cool. It's been forged using a combination of two ores, one from a light stone that fell from the sky and one from a shadow stone born in darkness. When combining these two ores, the two opposing elements mean that forging a straight blade is extremely difficult, even when forged correctly. The result is a curved blade. As seen in this weapon, it is imbued with the time element. So we've got two time weapons. Nidra, guard sword. A long, simple broadsword. It was given to the owner by Freya, the leader of the resistance, when accompanying the previous sacrifice on a pilgrimage, and provides considerable power when swung with sufficient speed and force. Its simple design makes it easy to use, and it can deliver powerful blows that pulverize opponents with ease. It was forged using an ore with evil warding properties, and provides reliable defense against both physical and magical attacks. Vanquisher, the one that he's got right now. Oh, that's a cool looking blade. A ceremonial blade used in ancient times, adorned with ancient spirit stones. Its appearance is somewhat sinister. Old texts from the time indicate that this sword itself was in fact an object of worship. Its shining black blade was made using an ore only found in the old rock beds near the coast, which is very difficult to obtain today, undoubtedly making it a highly valuable weapon. That's all the weapons for the 4 characters we have at our disposal at the moment. Obviously, when we meet new characters and get new party members and that and new weapons, we'll update it as we go along. Talismans. Okay, we've got a lot of these. Mark of the Masked Tribe. A mark carried by adult members of the Masked Tribe. It is given to them by the chieftain to signify their coming of age. What we got? Spirit Night, items, Magic Consortium locations, notes. Okay, so we've got 2 talismans. I'm going to change location so we have new music. 2 minutes. Off. We are on talismans. So, Dawn Amulet. This amulet is adorned with a rising sun motif. It is imbued with a magic spell that has been passed down in the village for many years. We've got the Frog Doll. A doll depicting a mysterious creature with green skin and bulging eyes. Some say it is a proto-creature that conquered land and sea long ago. Ancient charm, a metal charm fashioned in the shape of a wing. It is old and worn but carefully maintained, and it is clear that its former owner took great care of it. The Dreambringer, a headpiece said to be able to create miracles. It was once sent for by a wealthy man to save his dying daughter, but sadly no miracle occurred. Crown of Divine Grace. It is said that this crown was endowed upon a legendary king by the gods. The mighty blessings it contains cause you to shine with unfading light. a necklace made from the seeds of the Jeruru tree. Its name comes from the sound of the night breeze against the seeds, which resembles a newborn cry. The Chaos Orb bracelets. This bracelet is said with 7 Chaos Orbs. They represent the colours of bridge that will cross the sky when the advent of chaos is nigh. The Tail of Fortune. This tail brings good fortune to all those who touch it. This fortune continues to be passed on from person to person as if by fate. Spider Silk. This talisman can extract information from Spirit Knight that is inserted in it. It is able to see its previous and future owners and their fates. Aqua Heart. This talisman keeps the wearer's heart as pure as the clearest spring sky. Then we have Spirit Knight. Endor has a Cyclone. The user channels magical energy into the blade, then swings it around, sending foes flying. Offers a wide attack range and is also able to knock back enemies when used in momentum mode. It will also cause additional physical damage to all enemies. The channeling of magical energy is not hard to pull off, making a simple and useful tech that is a favourite among those who make their living as mercenaries. We have Aura. Uses healing energy to aid the body's recovery from damage, as well as recovering HP. The ATB gauge will already be partially full after use, allowing another action to be performed in quick succession. When used in momentum mode, it will also heal any status ailments, making it a popular tech among those who often fight alone. We have Wall. Create a wall of magical energy that bears the brunt of attacks. It deploys shields to protect against both physical and magical damage. Each of these shields has HP and will disappear once it reaches 0. When used in momentum mode, the tech's effect will be applied to all allies. Not only can this tech be used to protect the user, it can also grant protection to one's charge and is often used by those who work as mercenaries and bodyguards. We have Setsuna, who has a cure. Focuses healing energy, recovering HP. Although one of the most basic of healing techs, the amount of HP it recovers is also among the largest when used in momentum mode. The ATB gauge will already be partially full after use, allowing another action to be performed quickly. The principle behind this tech is simple, but it is in fact very difficult to master for one who does not possess great benevolence in his or her heart. Lightning. This is the only magical attack we really have for her at the moment. It transforms magical energy into a lightning bolt that strikes from above. When used in momentum mode, additional damage will be inflicted as well as reduction to the enemy's light elemental resistance, but a short lasting one. Although the most basic of light elemental attacks, it does not require its user to possess any special abilities, making it a useful and very popular tech. Eterna. The user charges forward with speed boosting time energy, slashing through the enemy. This tech is useful as it can be used to attack all foes in a straight line from the target. When used in momentum mode, it will also cause additional physical damage to a single enemy. This attack's primitive nature makes it difficult to defend against, as time element magic users are rare. This tech is a seldom seen in use, and when it is seen, its user is, without exception, a powerful one. And we have Protect. Pretty much it's like Wall, but it only does physical. This tech boosts physical strength and immunity. Oh, okay, no, it boosts physical strength. Okay. Also defense. When used in momentum mode, its duration will be increased. The principle behind this tech is extremely simple, and considering how easy it is to master, its effect is relatively powerful. It is ideal for use when guarding a sacrifice and is said to have been used on many past programages. Usually, when in most RPGs I've played, Protect is like Wall, but it's just a physical, like it's physical protection. It actually boosts physical strength, which makes it really useful. Nidra as Provoke. Provoke enemies directing their attacks towards the user. Rather than simply provoking enemies using words or gestures, this tech affects their consciousness and grants the desired effect every time without fail. When used in momentum mode, it will also boost the user's defense. Although designed for use in duels, it proves surprisingly effective in group combat, and its use was officially sanctioned among the Knights of the Old Kingdom. Aerial Strike. The user jumps into the air, then delivers a powerful strike with his or her full weight behind the sword. This tech uses a minimum of magical energy, relying mainly on physical strength, but its simplicity makes it extremely powerful. When used in momentum mode, it will also cause additional physical damage to all enemies. As this tech's burden on the user's body is considerable, it is difficult to use for anyone who does not possess substantial physical strength. Combos. X-Strike. The user's strikes cross each other, creating an X-shaped trail that causes damage to enemies. It inflicts more damage the sooner the two strike cross. When used in momentum mode, this combo will also cause additional physical damage to a single enemy. Now, I've only got X-strike for these two. I'm not sure if we'll unlock any for anybody else. Hopefully we will. Flux bonuses is defense power. Increases the power of the corresponding tech / combos when used immediately after the user receives damage. When more than one defense power flux is added, power will further be increased. So that is also pretty useful. Momentum mode changes, add physical damage, causes additional physical damage, power element and number of hits will change according to the tech or combo used. Some will also gain damage adjustments or status effects. Singularity. Okay, the rate at which the SP gauge fills up is greatly increased, allowing momentum mode to be used more frequently. Also increases the power effects generated by momentum mode. We have probability change, boost critical hit rate and status affliction rate. You've got time light, damage adjustment counters will no longer be reset, even by enemy actions. The counters that will no longer be reset are hit chain, skill chain, same element chain. Okay, it's just all this is just going to be helping us. Items. We know what items are. Key items. Mother's keepsake, a pouch given to Setsuna by Reishin when her pilgrimage began. It was once carried by her mother and contains a small stone. And we have an old man's letter. A letter written by Dynasta Akash apparently contains a little magical spell of sorts. Materials. These are just things that we've been collecting through the world. Nothing important on there. Magic Consortium. This is basically this is the place where we get all our magic from. What's Blade Wave? I could get some of these, I think. Okay, now we've got the places we've been to. Knive Island, a picturesque harbour on the coast of Knive Island. This is Knive Harbour. The ferries that sail to and from it serve as the only route between Knive and the mainland, so it has been built to accommodate ships of any size. All the sacrifices depart from here when beginning their pilgrimages, and it is referred to by some local people as Farewell Harbour. The sea breeze means that snow does not settle as readily as on other parts of the island, but on windy days powdered snow can often be seen dancing in the air. We have Knive Village, the village from which all the sacrifices are sent forth. The sacrificial tradition began here, and so it is known across the land as the Village of Sacrifice. The sacrifices who protect everyone from the monsters are the only hope of people everywhere, and so Knive carries a grave responsibility. The people of the village therefore have a strong sense of duty and pride. Dashia Woods. Forest situated to the northeast of Knive Village. Anyone who visits the woods for the first time and sees the sunlight filtering through the boughs of the trees and the stunning red of the deciduous tree leaves against the brilliant white snow will instantly understand the reason for its name. We have Falling Snow Monument, a monument engraved with the names of all the past sacrifices. The souls of the sacrifices are thought to return as the snow that falls across the land, and this monument was built in honour of them. The cliff on which it stands is considered a holy ground by the people of Knive, and it is time-honoured tradition that all women chosen as sacrifices offer up a prayer to the monument before departing on their journey. Flinian Territories. Okay, we've got Forgotten Shore, an inlet beach on the coast of the Flinian Territories. Although it is not immediately apparent, the tide here is fierce, and if one is careless, it is easy to be swept out to sea by its current. There were once plans to build a harbour here, but they were abandoned due to the aquatic monsters that frequent the beach's sands. As the years passed, the beach became forgotten, and its shore lies empty save for the rocks. Serendale, a town situated to the north of the Forgotten Shore. The view of the rising sun to be found here is the most unbroken of any on the mainland. It once thrived as a port town, but one year when the sacrificial pilgrimage ended in failure, it was ravaged by monsters and left in ruins. It is said that figures can sometimes be seen wandering through the town, and it is possible that these are the lingering souls of its former inhabitants who refuse to leave. We have Purica, a small village situated near the mountains. Due to its mild climate, its soils provide relatively plentiful harvests because of its ample crops. It once served as a garrison for the knights of the ancient kingdom. The stalwart gates erected at that time can still be seen today, and a watchtower also remains in the centre of the village. The village has no official leader, but Freya, the captain of the local resistance, essentially fulfills this role. Frost Caves, a series of caves leading between Parika and Flininia Citadel. This is where we fought that giant monster tortoise thing. The pillars of ice found in this cavern give off a luminous blue hue. Although perilous, these caves serve as the only route between Parika and Flininia, and it is said that many travellers have lost their lives to the monsters that dwell within them. Flininia Citadel. When the ancient kingdom still reigned, the town was turned into a citadel as part of plans to strengthen the kingdom's defences. It is extremely secure and invasion is difficult even for monsters. Snow cabin. The snowfall in this area is extremely heavy and its former inhabitants would generally stay inside. Steam baths were also once very popular in this area. Mistley Woods. A lonely forest with a river running through it leading to a lake. No one knows the reason behind the name Mistley, but the woods are said to hold some sort of secret. Mysteriously, the river that runs through them stays warm all year round and never freezes over, even in the dead of winter. Tenderville. A small settlement built near the northeastern coast of the mainland. It was originally constructed by Avalo, the Lord of Flininia, as a safe haven for those whose homes were destroyed by monsters or, for whatever other reason, had no place left to go. Its gates are always open and anyone is free to come and go at any time. Its buildings are modest and uniform, but for a temporary shelter it offers ample accommodation, and it is very popular with residents. We have the remote island Himcock Forest, a forest so dense that it stays dark even in the daytime. It is infested with monsters and so is rarely entered by humans. Even travellers and merchants seldom dare to pass through. Then we have the story so far. A custom that has been carried out, the sacrifice, a custom that's been carried out in Nye Village for many years. In order to appease the savage monsters, the chosen sacrifice travels to the last lands to perform the sacrificial rites. It is customary for females to be chosen as they generally possess greater magical energy than males. Up until now, these rites have been carried out once every 10 years. But because monsters are now increasing in number more rapidly, the time between pilgrimages has shortened. Just having a drink. The sacrifice is protection. It is said that once the sacrifice fulfills her duty, the threat of the monsters will disappear, bringing peace to the mainland and the surrounding islands. The vast majority of people therefore regard the sacrifice with great esteem and will do their best to aid them on their journeys. However, few people today know the reason why the sacrificial rites appease the monsters, and as a result there are those who doubt the effectiveness of the sacrifice. Yeah, it is very strange. We're going through that now in our playthrough. They've recently been a sacrifice, but Setsuna has to go again because for some reason the sacrifice hasn't worked. But one of our companions was with the previous sacrifice. He's not telling us exactly what's happened, but it does seem that the sacrifice failed. I don't know what happened. Maybe we'll find out more as the story continues. We got the pilgrim's route. The route and means of transport for the sacrificial pilgrimage is determined based on a variety of factors such as weather conditions and environmental changes. In most cases, after departing from Nye Village, the sacrifice and her guides will travel to the town of Flininia to gather information. From there, they will choose how to continue their journey, for example, by land or by sea. We're going by land at the moment. Can't really go by sea because the ship that we're going to use has been destroyed. Sacrifices guard, a special guard formed in order to see the sacrifice safely to the last lands. The guard is absolutely essential to the pilgrimage's success. It is not made up of a set number of people, its number is decided based on the ability of its members. However, the last lands are a perilous place and can only be crossed by those who possess extremely high magical energy. As a result, no sacrifices guard is ever thought to reach the pilgrimage's final destination intact. Monsters. Beasts that feed on magical energy. Many monsters will often attack humans and their settlement, and they are feared and hated across the land. Their numbers and ferocity begin to increase every 10 years or so, and if the sacrificial pilgrimage fails, their attacks on towns and villages will grow more intense. When this happens, they will sometimes destroy some villages completely. It is said that long ago monsters did not exist, but the validity of these claims is uncertain. Where did they come from then if they didn't exist? Magical energy, an inert source of spiritual power that is said to flow within all living things. Magic or techs are performed by releasing focused magical energy from the body. The power and properties of each being's magical energy vary greatly. However, the days when the majority of humans were able to make use of their magical energy have long passed, and today most have lost this ability. As a result, magical users are now extremely rare. The Masked Tribe. This is where our main character comes from. A tribe whose members have made their living as mercenaries for many generations. Some say the masked people originally came to this land from across the sea, while others say they're in fact the mainland's oldest indigenous people. The tribe's true history, however, is shrouded in mystery. Its people are renowned for their incredible physical and emotional strength and take great pride in their way of life, which capitalises on this strength. Some of them live for combat, while others value their duty to their clients above all else. It is not even certain how many of the tribe still survive today, or how many of its members are active as mercenaries. The Resistance, a resistance force formed in the village of Parika. It is led by Freya, the captain. She was going to come with us, but she got injured. Most of its members are regular people, young people from the village, and although the captain trains them daily, they are not what you would call a reliable combat force. Many of them also lack enthusiasm, especially when compared to the fervour of the captain. The Magic Consortium, an organisation that buys and sells goods around the mainland and the surrounding area. Their presence is extremely important for people who live in dangerous areas, but there are also rumours that suggest the organisation possesses another far more sinister side. Even objects that may appear worthless to the untrained eye can prove to be valuable research materials for the consortium's members. Although the technology to create Spritnight from scratch was lost long ago, the Magic Consortium are able to use such materials to create copies from the originals in their possession. Weppy and Tallies, a business founded by weaponsmith Weppy together with his good friend talisman maker Tally. Tally later lost his life in an unfortunate accident, and Weppy now travels the land to fulfill his partner's dream of seeing the faces of happy customers everywhere. Pubs. Although known as pubs, these establishments generally focus mainly on food rather than alcohol. In some villages, when stepping inside, you might even wonder if you were really in a pub at all. They were originally created to provide meals for the whole village, when food supplies were extremely scarce, but today this tradition only continues in a few select villages. However, villagers are still able to eat at pubs for free, while travellers must pay. The chefs found inside will cook any dish for a fee, however, and if given the recipe, can also provide rare dishes. Journal. Masked Mercenaries. Ender receives a mission to rescue a girl who has been kidnapped by monsters. He joins up with fellow mercenary Hasper in order to carry out this mission. Ender and Hasper successfully defeat the monsters and rescue the girl. After Hasper leaves to take the girl back to his parents, a mysterious man appears before Ender with a new mission with him: the assassination of a young girl. The journey begins. Arriving in Nai village, Ender finds his target Setsuna, who turned out to be the latest girl to be chosen as sacrifice. However, her guard Eterna appears and Ender is captured. Even though we try to take her life, Setsuna sticks up for Ender. He is intrigued by her, and abandoning his mission for the moment, he agrees to join her guard. The party sets sail on a ferry to the mainland, but the ferry is attacked by a giant monster and sinks. After being washed ashore to the mainland, the party meet Nidra, a man who lives in Parika. He turned out to be a hero who served on the guard of a previous pilgrimage. The party asks Nidra to join them, but he refuses. Shortly afterwards, the village is attacked by a mysterious man wielding a scythe. With Nidra's help, the party manages to drive the man away. Nidra is able to overcome his past and joins the party. Together they head for Flania Citadel. Good and evil. Ender and the others are granted an audience with the Lord of Flania, who agrees to ready an airship for them. They then set about looking for the missing shipwright Akas in order to do so. On the way they happen across a young boy named Kerr, and together with him they find a cache. The Lord of the Citadel's sinister plan is revealed and he kidnaps Setsuna and Kerr. As the party face off against the Lord of the Citadel, they are attacked once more by the scythe-wielding man. They manage to defeat him, but the airship explodes and Setsuna is seriously injured. And that, everybody, is everything from the Snow Chronicles so far. And there we'll finish our video. In the next one we will actually continue the story. We'll level our characters up as much as we can while we go along, and hopefully we'll be able to cure Setsuna. Anyway, until next time guys, thank you all for watching and listening. Take care.